You know, beautiful friends, I think I shared with some of you, the way we chant the prayers on high holidays. The Holy Baal Shem Tov says, this is the only thing which you remember from the Holy Temple. You know, when I put on film, I don't say, Master of the world, I'm ready for the Holy Temple. I'm sure it's important, but we don't say it. There's only one mitzvah we are doing, and right after I do the mitzvah, say, Master of the world, take me back to the Holy Temple, so we count the Omer. You know what it is to be in exile? That for me, one day is like the other. 1 minute is like the other. Just pushing my days through, pushing my nights through. I'm doing nothing wrong, but life is not exciting. Life is boring. And you know, my beautiful friends, there were moments, days when we could have fixed the world, when we could have fixed our own lives, but we're just in exile. We didn't even feel it. But when I count the Omer, as the Master of the world, I'm counting again. I'm a free person again. I know how precious moments are. When the moment of redemption comes, Master of the world, I'm ready. You know, between people, do you know how many husbands and wives could have made it if they would have watched those moments when they could have fixed their lives and be close again? Between us and the world, you and I know the sad truth. There were such great moments when Israel and the world could have made peace. We didn't watch for the moments. We didn't count the day. So before we count the Omer, I just want to sing a little bit from Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur and pray with you for peace, and then we'll count the Omer. And it'll be so beautiful. Join me. You know what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, the first sign of a holy person is that they're full of joy, full of life. You know what holy means? That whatever you do it with all your heart, with all your might. You know what holy means? Holy means, why is God holy? He's always there. You know what holy means? I'm always there. I'm always there when someone needs me. You know what a good friend is? You call them up and say, can you do me a favor? And they say, can you call me back in 10 minutes? Right now I'm busy. You know what a holy friend is? I need a favor. It's done already. You don't even have to ask. You know, friends, you and I, we need holy friends. We need good friends. Holy moments. I want you to join me. You know, friends, I'm sure it's clear to you and me. Can you imagine if all the Jews in the world would be the way God wants us to be? The world would be ours. If all of us would be shining with holiness, with sweetness. If all of us would shine with God's oneness. If every human being who would see us on the street would run after us and say, hey, you know something you want to know so badly. Can you give it over to me? What a world.
Ayet me Shanu b'mitzvah Yisrael mitzvot
al sefir razoy ayayim shloisho shloisho sheyeh abos v'chamisho yavim aloim yorachmonu yachzilonu avoda neizam neigazim chayom Adimero, Yameino, Omer says, today is 3 days and 30 days, which is 4 days, 4 weeks, and 5 days, to the counting of the Omer. Merciful Holy One, take us back, take us back, bring us back, bring us back, bring us close again, bring us close again. To the holy temple and to serve you, to serve the one, the only one. Amen, 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 amen. Amen. And now everybody knows that Reb Nachman, the Heilige Reb Nachman of Breslov, also considered himself a personal pupil of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. And if I may, and I want you to sing with me. Reb Nachman, Reb Nachman, Reb Nachman says, a holy master Reb Nachman, a holy master Reb Nachman says, in order to serve God, you have to learn, you have to know 3 lessons. The first lesson is you have to learn how to walk. You have to learn how to stand. Join me, learn how to stand, learn how to walk. When you do a mitzvah, when you do something good, you're walking in God's way. When you're praying, you stand before the one, before the only one. But only those who are walking know how to stand, and only those who are standing know how to walk. So sing with me, Reb Nachman says, learn how to walk, learn how to stand. Learn how to stand, learn how to walk. This is the first lesson. The second is a bit harder. Learn how to fall and to get up. Learn how to fall. Learn how to fall and to get up. So Reb Nachman says, if you're falling, don't be sad. You know God is teaching you how to get up. Because if you don't fall, how could the one, the only one, teach you how to get up? So Reb Nachman says, the Holy Master Reb Nachman says, when you're falling, let your heart be filled with joy. The one, the only one who knows, the only one who can teach you, shows you how to get up. So join me, Reb Nachman says, learn how to fall and to get up. Learn how to fall and to get up. The third lesson is the hardest. I have a feeling it's you and me, it's all of us. What do you do when you're falling and you can't get up? What do you do when you're falling and your heart is so broken? Your spirit is so destroyed. There's nothing to hope for, nothing to look back to. What do you do when you fall and you can't get up? So Reb Nachman, the Holy Master Reb Nachman says, in the meantime, keep on walking. In the meantime, keep on standing. In the meantime, join me, keep on walking. In the meantime, keep on standing. In the meantime, keep on. In the meantime, keep on standing. In the meantime, keep on singing, devout singing. In the meantime, keep on praying. In the meantime, keep on loving. Infinite light. And I want to share something with you. Imagine we should all have children and our children should live long. Imagine you talk to your child. Sometimes you talk to your children on an adult level. And then sometimes children, you talk to them like a little baby talk, right? On their level. I want to ask you the deepest question in the world. When are you closer to them? When you talk adult talk, or when you talk baby talk to them? You don't know, right? Gewalt is so deep. Oh, Gewalt. You know what it is? You know when it's like by Omer? In the middle of baby talk, right? Because on Pesach, God talks to us like adults, gives us the whole thing. But then we can't, we are still human beings, right? We're God's little babies. So in the middle of all this baby talk, measuring, you know, when I tell something to my baby, I have to measure it exactly how much they can take, right? Suddenly it's like Ba'omer. And it's clear to us that God is not telling us baby stuff. You know, sometimes you can tell a baby more than to an adult because it's so deep, so deep. And the way they listen with all their hearts, so deep, so deep, so deep. I want to tell you something very deep. You know, in a time of war, imagine you have to send a secret message. The king has to send a secret message to his soldiers. He's not taking a general dressed in the uniform with all his medals. He sends a schlepper. Nobody expects him to send a message, right? Because he gets through, nobody stops him. You know, this is the last war between good and evil in the world. And we are little messengers from one Jew to the other, from God to the Jews. So you know whom God has chosen to give over messages? Little Schlepperlach like you and I. We don't look like much, and people don't think we are anything. But you know what? We look low enough that nobody stops us. And we get through. We get through. I want you to know the greatest message is to bring a message from Yerushalayim to every Jew in the world. Let them know Gewalt. The Holy Temple is not destroyed. It just looks destroyed. Because we are destroyed. The Holy Temple is right there waiting for you. The greatest message from one Jew to the other is, I want you to know, the Torah lives. The Torah is alive. Every word of the Torah is so deep. So deep. But you know what the greatest crime against Judaism is? To think, God forbid, the 5 books of Moses, it's what it says in English. The greatest crime against Yiddishkeit is if you think the prayer book is what it says in English, even the best translation. So much deeper. Not so much deeper, deepest. Deepest depths. I want you to know something, just because Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. You know that Torah begins Beraishis, at the beginning, right? So you translate this as, at the beginning God created heaven and earth. Let me ask you, if the Torah would not say at the beginning, then you would think at the end God created heaven and earth, right? Stupid, right? Obviously at the beginning, right? When did God create heaven and earth? First He created bagels, then gefilte fish, and then heaven and earth? What do you mean when? What are we talking about? Okay, you know, if you're not into it, I want to share a story with you. The quote is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. You know what Beraishis means? Not at the beginning, with the beginning. Someone asks you, what did God put into heaven and earth? What did God put into nature? You know what God put into nature? Into our very lives? That you can always begin again. You can always begin again. And Beis Reishis means you can begin twice. When you begin the first time, or when you fail, you can begin again. So I want to share with you just the first story. I'm sitting on a plane going from New York to Boston. And it so happens I had with me the Beis Yaakov Ishbitzer. And you know, I just gave you this Torah of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in a nutshell. But the Beis Yaakov is a long Torah, you know, earth-shaking, soul-shaking. Next to me is a non-Jewish brother. We start talking to each other. And he says to me, what are you learning? And it was one day after Simchas Torah, when the next portion is Beraishis. I say, my dear brother, do you ever study the Bible? And he tells me that he lives in Maine, and there's a whole group who broke away from his church because the priest doesn't say enough deep Torahs. He says, hey, you should join my synagogue. We all are dropouts from the West, you know, we want to learn something deep. So we had 2 more minutes to be learned. I says, let me share with you a Torah from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Bereshit doesn't mean at the beginning. It means when God created the world, He filled it with beginnings. Because you know something? If a person wants to commit suicide, you go down to the beach and you look at the water, you can't commit suicide. Because nature gives you the strength to begin again, right? Imagine you're so sad, you just wash your face with water, you're less sad. The wind, you stand and the wind is blowing, gives you so much hope. But then I says, I want you to know, Beis Reishis, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, you can begin twice. When you begin, and when you fail, you can begin again. Okay, 10 years later, I'm giving a concert near Boston. And suddenly a man walks in with his wife and with his daughter. He's crying. He hugs me. His wife is crying, and his daughter has tears in her eyes. And I have seen this man. I don't know what it is. So the woman begins to tell me the story. She says, "You remember this non-Jewish brother who was next to you on the plane to Boston?" I look at him. "Yeah, it's my man." I said, "The one who broke away from his church?" He says, "Yeah." Anyway, this is the story. When I met him, he was a multimillionaire. Multimillionaire. Top. A few years later, something happened. He went absolutely bankrupt, but just not. Sometimes you go bankrupt and you go to Switzerland to have a rest, and you write a letter to other people, "You owe money, wish you were here," things like that. That's the way most people go bankrupt today, but he, mamish, went bankrupt. And he just didn't have the strength to go through the shame. He bought himself a pistol and decided to commit suicide. Okay, he decided to commit suicide, and he's he's a straight person, has an office, and he's still a millionaire, although he has nothing left. He bought himself a pistol, and he decided 5 o'clock, I'm shooting myself. It was 4:45. Wait. He thinks, what should I do the last few minutes? Let's study the Bible. He opens the first page. It says at the beginning. Suddenly he remembered the torah from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. There's always another beginning. Even if you fail the first beginning, there's a second beginning. Beis Reishis. He called up his wife and his daughter, says, "Please come here immediately. I had decided to shoot myself, but I'm not. Because I remember a message from a holy rabbi 2,000 years ago who said there's two beginnings." So she said, "My husband and we owe you the life because you were a messenger from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, right?" Friends, you never know. You never know whom you have to give the message. We just keep on giving messages. Mamish don't know. And you know something else? Don't ever say to yourself, this person is not interested. You don't know. People are not ashamed to say, "I'm hungry, I'm going to a restaurant, I'm hungry." But people are ashamed to admit, my soul is so empty. My life is so broken. Give me a drop of water. Give me some holy word from Mount Sinai. Give me a ray of light from Yerushalayim HaKodesh. Anyway, I want to bless you, Michelle. Western Union, they have a machine there and they receive all the messages. Then they give them out. Bless you, your house should be one of God's Western Union's machines. Get all the messages and then give it out. Okay, we're going to sing one more fast song. Give me E minor.
Hashem Elokeinu, Meheinu, Meheinu, Hashem Elokeinu, Meheinu, Meheinu, Hashem Elokeinu, Meheinu, Meheinu, Hashem Elokeinu, Ayoed Yeshoma, Yoreh Yehudo, Ayo Bechutzos, Yerushalayim. Ayoed Yeshoma, Yoreh Yehuda, Ayo Bechutzos, Yerushalayim, Meheiro Meiro Hashem Elokeinu, Meheiro Meiro Hashem Elokeinu, Meheiro Meiro Hashem Elokeinu, Meheiro Meiro Hashem Elokeinu, Hayayid Yeshama, Yorei Yehuda, Hay Obechotzai, Hay Yerushalayim, Ra-ra-ra-ra, Ra-ra-ra-ra, Hashem Elokeinu, Hayayid Yeshama, Yorei Yehuda, Hay Obechotzai, Yerushalayim, Hay Ra-ra-ra-ra, Hayayid Yeshama,